Some people have a house, some people have a family, some people have both the dinners, the photographs on the walls, the people who know their name, and yet, somewhere inside, they still feel alone. But then there's a dog, and somehow, the moment that dog rests its weight against them, warm, heavy, completely present, the loneliness becomes quieter, not gone, just quieter. Like someone turned down the volume on a sound they had stopped noticing was always playing. And that's when something strange begins to happen. The dog stops feeling like a pet and starts feeling like home. If you know exactly what that means, this video is for you. There is something psychologists have understood for a long time that most people don't talk about in ordinary conversation. Home is not a place. It never really was. Home is a feeling. It's the particular sensation of being somewhere or with someone where you don't have to manage yourself, where you can exhale without calculating what the exhale will communicate, where you are not performing, not editing, not translating yourself into something more acceptable. Home, in the deepest psychological sense, is where the self gets to rest. Researchers who study attachment, the invisible architecture of how humans bond, describe this as a secure base, a place real or felt where the nervous system finally stops scanning for danger, where belonging doesn't have to be earned, where you are allowed to simply exist. Most people spend their entire lives looking for that feeling in other people, and for a while, many of them find it in a parent's presence as a child, in a friendship that felt like recognition, in a partnership where being known felt safe rather than threatening. But life, as it tends to do, changes things. There's a kind of emotional homelessness that settles quietly into adulthood, and almost no one names it out loud. It doesn't arrive all at once. It accumulates. A friendship that drifted, a parent who passed, a relationship that ended not with drama but with silence. Children who grew up and needed you differently or not at all. A career that once felt like identity, finished. A community that's scattered. The architecture of belonging that once held a person together gets slowly, almost invisibly dismantled. And the strange part is that many people facing this aren't suffering in any way that looks obvious from the outside. They function. They show up. They answer emails and make small talk and say, "I'm fine," with complete conviction. But inside, something is searching. Something that doesn't have a name yet is moving through the rooms of their life, looking for a place to put down its weight. This is not depression necessarily. It is not weakness. It is the deeply human need for a secure base and the profound disorientation of finding that the ones you had are no longer where you left them. And here's the part nobody tells you. The brain doesn't require that secure base to come in a particular form. It just requires the feeling. Enter the dog. You know the way a dog looks at you when you walk through the door? Not the way a person looks at you calculating, hoping, needing something from the interaction, but completely and entirely just glad you exist. There is no judgment in it, no performance required from you. The dog does not need you to have had a productive day. It doesn't need you to be funny or interesting or emotionally available. It doesn't need you to explain yourself or defend your choices or be further along than you are. It responds to who you are right now, in this moment, as you actually are. Psychologists call this unconditional positive regard, a term most often used to describe a quality of therapeutic relationships, the idea of being received without conditions. Carl Rogers, who developed the concept, believed it was one of the most fundamentally healing experiences a human being could have. Most people rarely receive it from other humans. The conditions are always present, even in loving relationships, even in good ones. People need things from each other. They carry histories and projections and quiet expectations. The dog carries none of that. And something in the human nervous system knows the difference. When you've lived with chronic stress, and most adults have, in one form or another, your nervous system develops a kind of vigilance. It stays lightly activated, monitoring, waiting for the next thing to manage. This isn't a flaw. It's adaptation. The brain learns that the world requires alertness, and so it provides alertness, even during rest, even during sleep, even in moments that are technically safe. But then the dog lies down beside you, and something shifts. Not because the problems disappeared, not because anything outside of you changed, but because something in the room has communicated at a frequency below language that you are safe here, that nothing is required, that no threat is incoming. The breath slows, the shoulders drop, the jaw unclenches in a way you didn't even realize it was clenched. This is not metaphor, this is biology. The presence of a calm, bonded animal genuinely regulates the human nervous system through touch, through warmth, through the rhythm of their breathing. The body reads it as safety, not symbolically, actually. And when the nervous system feels safe, it does something remarkable. It lets you come home to yourself. Think about what you instinctively reach for at the end of a hard day. Not a solution, not an explanation, not even comfort, exactly. You reach for the dog after a conversation that left you feeling misunderstood, after a workday that asked everything of you and gave very little back, after the kind of quiet grief that doesn't have an occasion but sits with you anyway. You don't reach for advice. You don't reach for a pep talk. You reach for the one presence in your life that will meet you exactly where you are without needing you to be anywhere else. There's a reason for this that goes deeper than habit. When humans have experienced emotional disconnection, when the world has repeatedly asked them to perform rather than be, to manage rather than feel, they begin to seek environments where the cost of presence is zero. The dog is that environment, a living, breathing place where you pay nothing to enter, where your sadness is not a burden, where your silence is not awkward, where you do not have to translate the complicated interior of your experience into words that someone else can accept. You simply are, and that is enough. And the dog, without language, says so. This is what home actually means. Not the address, not the furniture, not even the people, always. Home is the place where you are allowed to be unfinished, where your incompleteness is not a problem to solve but simply part of the texture of your presence, where you can arrive exhausted and not apologize for the exhaustion. For more people than would ever say it out loud, that place has 4 legs and warm fur and a heartbeat they have memorized. And understanding this changes the way you see those quiet moments, the ones that seem too small to mention but stay with you. The dog asleep across your feet while you sit with a hard thought. The dog pressing its nose into your hand during the kind of sadness that has no story attached. The way the room feels different when the dog is in it. Fuller, somehow, quieter in the best possible way. That's not projection. That's not sentiment. That is the human need for a secure base, finding its way home through whatever door remains open. Maybe that's why losing a dog hurts in a way most people struggle to explain. It's not just grief for an animal. It's grief for a place, for a feeling, for a quiet corner of the world where you were allowed fully, unconditionally, without effort to simply be yourself. That kind of loss doesn't have a clean category. People often feel embarrassed by how much it costs them. They wonder if they're being dramatic. They wonder if something is wrong with them for mourning so deeply. But there's nothing wrong with them. They lost a home. And maybe that's what home really is, not the place that holds your things, but the place that holds you exactly as you are, without asking you to be otherwise. If your dog has ever felt like that to you, you are not strange, you are not too attached. You are simply someone who found, in an unexpected place, the thing every human being quietly searches for their entire life. And if they're still with you, that warm weight, that steady breathing, that gaze that asks nothing and gives everything, then in the truest sense of the word, you are already home. Tell me their name in the comments. And tell me one thing they do that instantly makes you feel safe. I read every single story, and some of them may find their way into a future video.